Hello, and welcome to The Art Will Not Be Changing, the Fugitive Poem Show. I am, as ever, Christian de Matteo, co-founder of Fugitive Poems, and this is our show. And there is so much more of it this year because I just went a little booking crazy. It was a bunch of cool freaking people out there that I felt like talking to. In fact, we've got one of my favorite people in the world on tonight, and someone who I think is going to be one of my favorite people in the world after this, someone I've been dying to talk to. And I figure, you watch, you don't watch, I have fun. And that's really why I do anything. Before we start, I want to please remind you that we got these brand new badass stickers for Fugitive Poems in. That's James Lyons painting ICU. I like the letter. It's like the hospital. And if you order during the live show any physical product or get your subscription to the incredible supernatural Dirty Noir Dirty Living, we will send you a physical copy of the sticker. Blood Valkyrie in Vegas is on the website. It is wild. It is bloody. It is sexy. It's shocking. I very professionally forgot to turn the ringer off on my phone. And we're selling it. It's there if you want it. And I'll tell you what, if you order it during the show, I'll sign it too. I'll sign it with anybody's name that you want. I could be whoever you want. Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong thing. So that's what we've got going on. But tonight, we have fellow fugitive J. Schiek. If you look at the Containment Breach Volume 3 story, the Yankovic, which is actually appropriate. I just realized that. The Yankovic theorem. Jay drew that. Something I wrote. I was honored to have him draw something I wrote, especially because it had a giant marauding chicken in it, which pleased me to no end. And then we have Mario Candelaria, who I have been dying to meet, who put out a book that has knocked me on my ass. So with no further ado, please let me introduce Mario Candelaria and Jay Schiek. How you guys doing?
Introduction. Hey.
Oh, absolutely. How are you guys? You good?
Good to see you.
Jay, it's always great to see you. And Mario, I don't know if you know this, but you have a special place in my heart because you are one of Fugitive Poems' very first supporters. When you put out Tales from the Pandemic, we put out Volume 1 of Containment Breach, Quarantine Chronicles, and you bought it. And I remember thinking, how cool this dude got our book, because we had gotten yours as well. So I have been aware of you, following you ever since then. I'm like, all right, this guy we're on the same track, and he supported us, and I'm going to keep supporting them. And I have loved everything that you've done. You and Jay getting together on this fucking book is so cool. So let's get a little bit of background. Mario, you are primarily a writer and director of pornography. Am I right about this?
Of course. Ever since I saw Hardcore, I had to jump into it. Both feet.
Wasn't Boogie Nights?
Oh, Boogie Nights wishes. In fact, I was worried they'd rip me off. But...
So what you write and you do other things as well. Am I insane, or do I remember that you did stand-up comedy or do stand-up comedy as well?
I can't vouch for your mental health, but I definitely did do stand-up comedy for a little bit in my younger and more impressionable days in the New York City scene.
Great. All right. And you in New York now? Are you still in this area, or?
I live in Philadelphia. Go Birds. Okay. I've lived here for almost 20 years now, so half my life.
Wow. Nice. That's very cool. And you are a writer of things, man. All kinds of things.
Yeah.
You've got. I get the sense that you're like me, where the brain is never, no matter who you're talking to or what you're dealing with, there's a section of your brain creating and coming up with wild crap. Is that
exactly?
Yeah.
I mean, It's a curse, but it's also a gift, right? I mean, how many times have you been talking to someone and you will jump in mid-sentence in a conversation you're already having with yourself, and they have no idea what you're talking about?
We've done that. Yeah. Or I'm driving and my wife's talking about something. The kids are screaming in the back, and I'm like, he's got to go to the basement first. And my wife's like, what? I'm sorry. I can't even. Starting.
That's funny.
Yeah, I explained to my therapist, I said, I feel bad for people, but I am never fully lit. I always have a background program running.
Of course.
I'm writing at the time. And so Mario, writing machine, and then we've got the art machine, the oh my lord, creative art, uh, 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 unstoppable perpetual motion machine. Jay Schiek. Jay, what? Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
And how the hell do you work on so many things at once?
Um, the answer to most everything in my life is probably ADHD. Why is this
I knew
late?
you were going to say that.
ADHD. Where the hell were you? ADHD. Yeah, ADHD.
You get so much done, working with other people and on your own stuff. Folks, if you don't know, our friends at Band of Bards, which is another New York-based comic company, us being the other. They're up in Buffalo, New York. Let me give you their exact home addresses. No, I'm kidding. They're up in Buffalo, New York. And Jay has a series with them called Hush Ronin, which I have been honored to get to read the scripts a little bit in advance and see the art come together.
You have an
and
editing credit on those too. Don't cut
Oh, there it is.
short there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah. When I got the first issue and I saw my name in there, I was like, ah. Oh, it's so much fun to read Jay's scripts and talk to him and work on him. He's a great writer, and that's what I wanted to get to. He's a writer as well. Jay is an incredible creative. And so you guys get together and we get this sun-drenched, blood-soaked, sexy, violent. There's a fist fight in here. Well, it's barely a fist fight. It's pretty one-sided.
It's fist fighting for sure.
Yeah, there's a fist doing the fighting. There's that scene in American History X that is the reason I never watched the movie again. I love the movie where he makes the guy bite the curb.
Yep.
And I could not get that. I could not. I couldn't deal with it again. They didn't even show it. But it was just the concept was watching this guy get beaten the way Jay drew it was so one-sided and barbaric. It was great that it really struck me. Evan wants to know what we're actually talking about here. And yeah, sort of, but not the way you're thinking.
Evan, violence.
It's all about.
Evan's got a picture of himself with the Fugitive Poem sticker.
Oh, nice.
I love it. Mario, tell me where One True Love came from.
That's a great question. It's one of those ideas that hit me just kind of out of the middle of nowhere. I work a real corporate job, and that's where I like to do a lot of my thinking while I'm on the clock. And it's just this idea of criminals, but a lot of crime stories are building up to the event or how at least they get away with it. But we wanted to do something that was just, well, what happens after you cross that finish line? You know, you have this goal, you have this dream, and you attain it. What comes next? And it's just dealing with paranoia. Spoiler alert, it's about two heist robbers who get away with the loot. But unfortunately, the heist is just the beginning of their stories. What happens after they have the money? Do they trust one another? I mean, it's just elements of just, if anyone helps you steal.
I'm looking for the mute button while I die here.
It's all right. But no, it's just a question of, can you really trust people who help you steal from other people?
It's not a MacGuffin, the money, but it's not the focus. And I was really taken with that. It certainly comes back up, and I won't give that away. Folks, I had a stack literally this high of unopened, what the hell are they called? I use them. The boxes comics go in. What the hell are they called?
Like the Stay Flats?
Yeah,
the mailers.
The gem or
pizza boxes.
You sure? Pizza boxes of Kickstarter comics that I haven't even opened yet. Some from very dear friends. One that I'm fucking in, but I haven't opened it yet because I got so much. The day this came, I tore it open. I had my son film me. I wanted to do an unboxing for you guys, and Twitter would never let it go through. I don't know what happened. Maybe I should have had pants on. But I read this that night. I got the kids to bed, a small miracle in and of itself, and I read this that night, and I read it again after that. And I just it lived up to everything I was hoping for. Noir is my area. It's my main area of study. My son's name is Dashiell, so you know how dedicated I am to Noir. This is such a good book. And folks, you're going to want to get this, and we're going to talk about how you can get it. You might just be able to get it digital now, but we're going to want to look into how to get it physical. Holding this thing is a pleasure.
And question. Sorry.
Yeah.
How did you like the packaging?
It was really solid and hard to get into, actually. That was good.
Yeah, I mean, like when you opened it and you saw the package, for me, packaging design is my passion.
I forgot. It's been so long since I did that. This was so cool.
Genius. Absolute.
I forgot about this.
Fucking genius.
It was so cool. And we got this little book with it.
That's the best part. Not many people got that. That's a rare drop.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thrilled that I got it. I completely forgot. I got so caught up in the book. That little, you did the same thing. I've got the word fog in my head with another project.
Fogline.
Yes. You had really cool packaging on that one as well. Yes.
The reason why is because I'm a big fan of physical media. So when I get like video games or DVDs and stuff, and it has really cool packaging or extras that like more so than just like, here's the plastic case with a disc in it, right? I like to get the collector's edition stuff. So I like if I have an opportunity to release a product and have the capability to, put a little more effort into the packaging, that's what I want to do. With Fogline, it was an evidence bag with the confession note inside. Spoilers. I wanted this to look like a bag of cash.
Yeah, I love it. It was so cool you should see the video of me opening it. I got excited about every step of it, but no one will ever see it.
Thank you.
Yeah, just terrific. So this really came out of an idea, almost philosophical meandering about what we accomplish and what we're actually seriously after. I think the storyline is so good. It's noir and original, which is hard to do. It's so easy to fall into the cliches of noir. And one of the reasons, aside from Mario's amazing writing, is Jay's art. So first of all, folks, this is a California noir. So think out of the past. Think the sunshine, not dark, not German expressionism, not shadows and fog. We're talking everything horrible happens under the sun. In both ways, I could say that. And Jay, especially for a black and white book. Actually, look at the page I opened up to. There's the sun right there.
Wow.
How did you connect with the storyline and start to envision how you were going to put it together?
Oh, it's funny you mention Out of the Past, because it's one of my favorite noir movies with I'm gonna
Robert Mitchum,
of course, and Kirk Douglas.
Yeah,
Kirk Douglas, excuse me. I summer every year at a cabin that's very near where they shot that film, and I don't know. For me, it was having to leave California that made me fall in love with it. Sorry, my son's in the background here doing stuff. I've got a baby sleeping down the hall. She might wake up at some point, just so everybody knows.
Put her on.
If she wakes up. I got her down for a nap about an hour and a half ago. It's going good so far. But ever since leaving California, it's been this like, oh God, what have I done? Like, it wasn't you, it was me. But it was very much my own kind of my own yearning for. I was born there. I was raised there. I lived 40 plus years of my life there. Trying to incorporate that in as much as I could. And Southern California in particular formed my growing up phase, as it were. That's where I met my wife. That's where we got married. That's where we had our first kid. being around and in all of that, I wanted to make it very much a character in the story. And you see it kind of throughout. I hope people notice it. The presence of the Hollywood sign is this kind of overseer. You made a really good point that there's not really a MacGuffin in this story, and I never really even thought about that until you said it, that there isn't. It's a MacGuffinless MacGuffin story. I don't know. But when Mario hit me up with this, I was just getting into my love affair with Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips in the Criminal series. I think by way of Kill or Be Killed. That was the first book of theirs that I read, and I was like, okay, this is all right, but like Criminal was just like Kill or Be Killed felt like the burner was on simmer. Criminal really, amped that thing up to 11 for me. And getting to be a part of something like that was very, very exciting.
I'm a huge fan of Brubaker and Phillips, and it was honestly you that pushed me to do the whole Criminal series. And once I started, that was that. Mario, I just cut you off. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna just say, Jay's coming from California is different from mine not coming from California. So these characters having a sense of going west, or what's that famous quote, like "Go west, young man," that type of thing.
Yeah.
It's
Manifest destiny.
It's manifest destiny. Every generation in my family, since the old country, have moved away from where they grew up from. I mean, I moved away from my mom moved away from where she grew up from. Her mom and her mom before that. So it's just it's that sense of longing of just California has always been a shadow of a better life in a lot of metaphors throughout modern American history, and we wanted to try to capture that as well. Jay's being from there really did help a lot of credence to just like, okay, this is a product. He is a product of that area, so he can capture, that feeling.
So we got the visual, we've got the inspiration, the style of noir. This is a period piece. Now, the core, what you talked about is inspiring you to write the story, the concept could take place at any time in history or some sci-fi future. This could have been anything that could have played around with that concept, right? But you chose 1964. Why? Why is it 1964?
That's a really good question. I felt there's a bigger spirit of Americana back in the mid-century that we don't really have now. That kind of went away in the 70s after, like the Manson killings and such, where people were more open to letting in a stranger to hitchhike and the whole lot. This felt like it's on the cusp of America changing. And we know that the 60s was a keystone decade in terms of, if you look at the first day and the final day of the decade, it's pretty much like two different Americas at that point. We want to capture that. Also, I didn't want to write cell phones into the plot because I think a cell phone and text messaging would change every single thing about this.
Thank you.
So, yes.
Well, it's the bane of horror movies, right?
Of course.
Every movie has to have an early reason why the phones aren't working.
Yeah.
And it's funny because then there are the other movies where your cell phone works in an elevator. It works anywhere. And we all know damn well that's not true. No. But you get into a horror movie or a particularly tense moment in an action scene where all you'd have to be like, hey, dude, I need some help. And it's like, oh, weird, the phone isn't working.
Hey, chop down the T-Mobile tower.
Exactly. Billy Bob Thornton shows up to tell you why it does work. But so let me ask you this, and then Jay, I'm going to ask you a similar question. How much research did you have to do
for the art?
I'm going to ask you, Jay, about the art in a second. But Mario, how about you in writing the story to keep it in 1964? I mean, there's a lot of things. Not only is there stuff that Jay's got to really think about, like clothing and that whatever, the amount of body hair in the nude scenes, that kind of thing. But you got to think about even dialogue, how people talk. People think noir, they think 1920s, 30s, 40s, and Humphrey Bogart and such. But the 60s is a very different time. I'm actually thinking of Charlie Varick, but that was actually the 70s, that movie. So you had to do that research about locations. How far did you dive in?
Oh, the easier answer for that is it's two parts. The dialogue was a lot easier for me. I've always felt like I've been an old soul. I grew up, even as a really young kid, watching like the WPIX movies on Channel 11. So they
Yeah.
had decades old stuff. It was easy to pick up on what type of dialogue or the way people spoke. Old reruns, of course. I Love Lucy, even Sanford and Son, which is in the 70s, but still, things like that. And also, I had a lot of in the old neighborhood. I had a lot of old people that I hung around. The old guys in front of the stores playing dominoes and stuff. My grandmother and my great grandmother, her friends. So you just got to pick up on how people were. My dad was not a good guy. He's he's one of the guys that were kind of like one of these guys in this book. So
Huh.
it was easy to draw that type of connection. Also, as far as California, I have gone there 3 or 4 times a year, every year for the past 15 or so with my wife. And it's like a second home to us now. So traveling up and down the coast, taking the one, or even just going into like old Hollywood, or even in the hills where we stayed a bunch of times. It's just looking at spots that we went to that we saw that have been around for ages. Just doing a little bit of research. There's this one scene in our story that takes place at the Topanga bungalows, and classic spot, brilliant spot, burned down last year, unfortunately, with the wildfires. It's no longer there, but I remember driving up the coast once, and I told my wife, I was like, "Oh, this looks like a perfect place to have a something,"
100%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something here. I know it.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
gonna
it
be
sucks it
wicked.
burnt down. Before it burned down, I remember driving over there and I took a bunch of pictures. The whole location was fenced off because it's been condemned. But I remember driving there and taking pictures for Jay and sending him Jay to you, like right
Oh,
live
it
from
was like
location.
I'm short of like visiting my old neighborhood or something. It was great.
So,
Yeah,
But
Jay, we're
like
gonna. Oh, sorry. Go
oh, so,
ahead.
no, no,
I
no.
was gonna say we're gonna switch to you with this
yeah,
question, but Evan has our segue here. When we're doing the research, what shape of the curbs were then? So, if we're gonna do any curb stomping, we got to make sure that you're biting the
rounded,
right shape. Yeah,
unfortunately.
exactly.
it
It's hard to
depends
get a
where
good
you
bite.
are. Like my parents still live in California
Yeah.
in Sacramento area. They live in a little city called Citrus Heights.
Okay.
And you're in Citrus Heights because there are curbs and sidewalks. If you venture a block and a half over into Fair Oaks, the curbs and the sidewalks vanish. So I can't speak entirely for every inch of Southern California, but that was like a thing there. So depending on your city, your county, like things are different depending on how your tax dollar is spent, I suppose. But like Mario coming to me with this, and I was coming off literally the day of one of the worst experiences I have had as a comics artist. I was brought on into this very exciting samurai-based project, and if you've seen Hush Run, you know I'm into samurai and Akira Kurosawa films and all that good stuff. Um, it's I was essentially fired from this job, and literally the same day, Mario hits me up. Hey, do you want to do 6 pages for this pitch idea for One True Love? I couldn't have said yes fast enough, and it was like an amazing experience overall in how it spread out over the ensuing years. But it was kind of like you've got this friend on the East Coast who understands that East Coast mentality in a way that I probably never will. And I was able to kind of just like set up the guest room for his arrival here. And so, as much of that character I tried to preserve as I could in the art, but
We lost you.
uh,
Yeah,
from
about 4 seconds.
Tompkinsville, Kentucky, out of nowhere. Shout
The
out to
that
Tompkinsville.
Now, Mario. Now that I know more about your background, what Jay's saying, I'm seeing the connection with these guys from the East Coast coming to the West Coast to do a job, and all the talk about the old neighborhood, and that's
Yeah.
so interesting that you two balance exactly that out with character and location. So Jay, I want to know more about how you delved into the what research did you do to really get the feel of it? Here you are, California, but you don't 1964
Yeah.
know. How did you do that?
Well, the 50s and 60s are a major point of interest for me, kind of already. I'm big into, and not to sound like a creep or anything, but like the JFK assassination,
Mhm.
this kind of like watershed moment, and this kind of separates that with this being like 1964, we're post 11/22/63 when that would have happened, and everything, the way the country changed, and the only experience I had relative to that I could compare it to was 9/11, which was more on your guys's back porch, as it were, and somebody mentioned a hitchhiker in there. The one and only time I have ever picked up a hitchhiker in my life was in the week following 9/11/2001, and it was
Wow.
one of the scariest experiences of my life. And sorry to all hitchhikers I've passed ever since, but that's kind of why. But I think most of my research went into the sort of film noir, and book noir. Elmore Leonard. I've got a huge love for Elmore Leonard novels, particularly his grasp of that clipped, short dialogue that he does. Quentin Tarantino films, and he's another California guy like me, I guess. But um,
There
yeah,
it
no,
is.
I kind of, yes, pronto.
Yeah.
I got road dogs around here somewhere. I'm gonna start it one of these days. I don't have much time for reading anymore. I draw a lot.
Yeah, you do. While we're talking, let me show some. Mario was very cool and shared some of the unlettered and the lettering. The lettering, Scott Ellen, was fantastic. So
Yeah, Scott's the
forgive me
man.
for not showing that.
Yeah, he
But I
crushed it.
wanted to show some of the art. I absolutely love this page.
I gave you
Um,
unfiltered access to all the naked pages. So
oh gosh,
I featured this very page in the recent faculty showing at North Idaho College where I teach.
really, that's so
Yeah, I
cool.
didn't get
That's so
a
good.
printed copy of this one made, unfortunately. I was on a short time and a very, very limited budget as far as what I could pull off. But when I gave my talk on Tuesday, February 8th, those of you who are checking the calendar can fact check me on that one, but I think that's about right. Maybe it was
if
the
you
10th. No,
got
it was
that
the 10th.
wrong,
It was the 10th.
if you got that wrong, this whole show is invalid.
Yeah, I know. But this was the one page that I chose from the project to kind of represent it as a whole,
That's
in
funny.
terms of its attitude, this sort of like closed, tight body language,
Mhm.
the cigarette smoke forming that nice diagonal kind of parallel, just off parallel with the clouds there, and like, yeah,
You know, it's
that was
funny.
Maddie to me.
I was so glad for all the smoking in this book because it's become one of these really funny touchstones in rating things. Like what this movie is R because there is murder and
Yeah.
violence and rape and death and smoking. And
Yeah.
so, of all the horrible things in your book that occur, this is your greatest sin that you allowed to show people smoking cigarettes.
I
I saw that on
remember when I was
sorry,
a
Jay.
teenager, like Nicolas Cage got an award for leaving Las Vegas because he didn't smoke in that movie.
Hmm.
Like this whole big,
Interesting.
like golden thank you for not smoking.
That's so fun. If I was going to kill myself, absolutely one of the things I'd be doing was smoking regularly.
Of course.
I mean, why not? Yeah,
Just chain smoking cigarettes like Joker in that movie, Joker 1. It's just
Yeah,
yeah,
seriously.
exactly. Yep. Well,
It's the only way to get through Joker too.
I still haven't. I haven't gotten myself to do it because I love the
I
first
can't
one so
either.
much.
do it.
Joker the musical.
I'm
Take some
afraid. Well, I
gummies and
love the
just watch it.
concept actually, but I'm afraid I'll have to lock myself in my refrigerator if it's not good enough. But
Yeah.
so this page, there's so much character on here, and you do a lot of very interesting close-ups throughout this whole book.
Mhm.
Pan in, pan out. There's what is the page where the cigarette is in the air behind the car?
I know exactly the one you're talking about. Give me a
Oh
second.
God, it
Page
was
7?
so cool.
Is that page
It's one of
7?
my favorite panels from the whole thing. Sorry, I'm like trying to bring up my copy here.
Hold on.
It
You
is.
go backwards. Here we go. I think it's page 7. It's like the Cadillac is driving off. No, then it's page 6.
No, it's Peter and Paul are cruising down. They're
Yeah.
on their own.
No.
Nope. 5. Sorry, I don't even know my own book. Did I write this?
Oh, dude, if you're anything like me, once you're done with a script, you're done. You're on to
No,
the next
damn.
thing.
Oh, it's the scene after the diner. Okay, never mind.
That's right, it is. Yeah, after they threaten the photographer in the diner.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. After they
No,
have
it's
a
all
nice
good.
meal with a photographer in a diner.
Just so you know, if we ever make a sequel to this, that photographer is coming back.
Got it. Page 59.
59.
Yes. Oh wow.
There
Beautiful.
it is. So I am and always will be a reader first. And as much as I love comics, I make comics, I still find myself, and forgive me, James, I see you're out there, my partner in crime, the artist I work
James.
with. I read the bubbles first. I have to remind myself to look at the panels. Forgive me.
Yeah. No.
And
Yeah,
I
that
was
makes sense.
reading the bubbles, and I was like, wait, what is that in the foreground? And I pulled back into this panel. I'm like, this son of a bitch threw the cigarette out the window, and it's coming at me. Jay, you're a fucking genius.
Hey.
I absolutely beautiful. Now,
Smokey the Bear might disagree here, but
Of course. Speaking of Jay's art, I would like to take a time, maybe not now, maybe later, but to talk about Matt's house, because that is a whole story in and of itself. If you have time for that.
well, why don't we, Jay? Am I cutting you off if we jump to that?
you're totally good.
All
Let's
right,
jump.
so
to
Jay,
that.
you have a lot for this. You have a lot for this. So yeah, kicking you off. What is that? The first time we see this house, Matthew's house in the hills, is page 6 or 7, and I don't mean to throw 6, 7 out there for all the kids.
And I
Yeah.
want to call
Yeah, thanks.
everybody's attention to a specific website that I still have bookmarked as an icon on my iPad somewhere around here.
So yes, Tim, get
No joke.
light them up if you got
There
them.
it is.
Smoking if you got
The
him.
John Sowden house. I don't know if you can
Hold
see
on,
it. I'm just,
you don't have it yet. Oh, it's in your background.
Cameras are.
Okay.
It's
This
We
right
got
here
we
somewhere.
got some comments coming in that I didn't see. Evan says stunning. Jay,
Hey,
this is either about your
Thank you.
art or my current hair situation. I don't know which it is. Speaking of my hair, Brian Beardsley wants to know, what did you do to get the grays?
Cigarettes.
I used a combination of about 3 brushes on Procreate. I'm a big fan of the Spectra brush from the painting category. And then for flesh tones, I would use the gouache brush specifically because it was a little bit softer. It didn't have quite the same kind of grain and tone. I think of all drawing as encoding, and even if it's subtle, having a subtle like texture difference between your flesh and your backgrounds is a big deal where these things are concerned. If I was going to go for raw texture, what's the name of that brush? Spectra is what I use for most everything. Sorry, excuse me. The Tamar brush. And if you have Procreate, these are default brushes in the app. Not that I use anything super special or like I custom tailored these to my own specifications. I use the tool to fit my purpose rather than enforcing my purpose upon the tool, so to speak. But
That's deep. That's Zen, man.
well, thank you.
Hey,
Always what I'm
Tim,
shooting for.
we talked about you and Band of Bards earlier in the show. Not sure you saw it, but a big shout out to you guys, fellow New York
Tim!
comic book company. Tim, it's great to have you on. Shout out to the, and how do you say that? I've been saying gauche all this time.
That's
which
what I've been
I
thinking.
know is very gauche of me.
Gouache.
Yeah.
Gouache. Oh, that's even worse.
Okay.
It sounds like what people in the Midwest do when they do laundry. I'm gonna go wash my clothes.
That's fine.
Not no offense to
Mario,
Midwest. I just got a call from Kentucky.
Why the horizontal formatting? Brian Beardsley is a great friend of ours. He's drawing a
Hey, Brian.
comic right now for us from Mark Capitelli. Has written it, and he's got this great question: why the horizontal formatting?
Great question. There's 2 answers. One is I wanted to pay homage to my mentor, Victor Santos, who is a brilliant artist, writer, cartoonist is what the term is, from Spain, who he's done a lot of collaborations with a lot of artists for IDW and DC and Marvel. But the thing he has Made the best is Polar, which is his own books for Dark Horse, which started out as a no dialogue webcomic, which when Dark Horse picked it up, he went and added dialogue in. And there's since been one movie made and another one currently in production from Netflix starring Mads Mikkelsen. Is that his name?
Oh, I love him.
Mikkelsen.
Yeah,
yeah,
amazing. So this is a shout out to Victor Santos, which in one of these pages, there's actually some Victor Santos art that he did for us in the background hanging on Matt Delfino's wall. So go back maybe 2 pages.
Yes. I was very careful with those too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. He loved it too. I think it's probably page like 8, but yeah, we have
if you go back
art hang.
When they first arrive at Matt's house, they're right there in the living room on his wall as movie posters.
7.
You guys are 0 for 0 on knowing your pages.
Goddamn. No, I'm off too. Jeez Louise.
Well, it's digital to print to it's different when you're looking at a PDF versus.
What's the
down?
The
it should have been like right there when we first see the house.
Offsetting for the frontispiece is hard.
Yeah, trying to see it through here is like.
Yeah, no.
Let me see if I can avail us here.
Right. Anyway, but yeah, and also we wanted to have it look cinematic with Jay's art lends to that. So I was picturing his art more widescreen than just narrow frame. And he knocked it out the park in terms of just trying to find that layout. Which, Jay, was that challenging for you, trying to do a wider layout as opposed to just building downwards with panels?
In some cases, yes. In other cases, it was actually very liberating because I got to go into these I could lean into the cinematography of it and go very wide and letterbox with stuff. Very early on in my life, I wanted to be a filmmaker, and this felt like filmmaking in a lot of ways. Where I have to try to squeeze. This page is a great example of that because every panel is more vertically oriented. Trying to squeeze that much action and drama into so narrow a vertical space, it's like, okay, well, now I'm thinking about the top and the bottom of the frame versus the left and the right of the frame. And it particularly that left-hand panel there with Pete just like losing his shit, just that like the silhouette of it. And one hand, it was a fairly easy panel to do because hey, it's silhouettes, it's a lot of spot blacking. But on the other two, it was just like trying to get the right pose and then like do that pose a second time, elongated into this shadow that's stretching across the floor. And this ties back into that house, which if anybody has seen Chinatown, I'm trying to think of any other films it's featured in. It's speculated as one of the ground zero for the Black Dahlia murder. It might have occurred.
I have stuff to talk about that.
The John Sowden house.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about this house in the process of fictionalizing it and then also adding in this sort of more Mayan. Well, it's already very Mayan Aztec. I kind of modernized it a bit. Things where it's got these more incremented kind of what's the word? I'm not an architect, but the way it's built. I added some more like mid-century modern kind of curves to it. So it feels familiar, but is not entirely based in our existing reality.
Claudio Girardo, one of my favorite human beings and artist in Canada. He does incredible stuff. Says these are so well done. Nice job. Claudio and I are working on a Lovecraftian comic right now. Awesome. That he is knocking out of the park. I was painfully, and Mario might well, you know what, Jay will get this too on the receiving end of it. I managed to be incredibly specific and painfully vague in describing the cosmic beast.
Yeah.
Sort of the ultimate FU to the artist. No, what do you want? I described it.
It's what I deserve.
One of my buddies, Danny Earls, told me when he read my script, he goes, "Hey, this is a beautiful script, but you don't leave anything to the artist's imagination. You're giving them too much detail." And I was like, "Oh, okay. So now I don't give Jay anything." Page one, panel 1, nothing.
Danny Earls would have killed it on the architecture in this. His architecture is out of this world awesome. I feel like I'm phoning it in every time when I look at one of his pieces of like Gotham or Hell's Kitchen when he does a Daredevil piece or something. I'm like, fucking A. Like,
He really liked what you did with this, so there's mutual admiration there. He was the
oh,
one. I think he gave us a quote on the back of the book too, right?
what? Did I miss something?
Yes, maybe. Danny Earls, a triumphant force in the medium. This to me feels like an opus. So,
Yes.
Wow.
um, yeah, what Jay touched on with this property is this is a fictional interpretation of the real life Soden House, which is on Franklin Avenue, just west of Gower, if people know your Hollywood area. This house, I don't know when it was constructed. I want to say the 30s, but it was once owned by Dr. Hodel, which, if you look into him, he was like the original Jeff Epstein, unfortunately, in terms of shady stuff.
Mhm.
And it is rumored with good credibility that this might be the house where the Black Dahlia was actually killed before they dumped her body on those streets.
Yeah.
There was a mini series about this recently called I Am the Night, which stars Chris Pine. It's like a 4 episode Hulu series, which is really good. Set at the house too, which is creepy as hell. And I've passed by this house, which is an unassuming house in the middle of like a suburban street. It's just this random neo-Aztec architecture that just looks so creepy. And once again, that was one of those things like, oh, I have to put this in something. And Jay did a great job of making the house feel like a character itself. When these guys are hiding out in this house, trying to escape the inevitable, the house itself feels anxiety ridden and chaotic, like the walls are closing in against them.
I had help. And if I could call
Huh.
everybody's attention
Yes.
to this,
Oh no.
this was the game change. This was the watershed moment for the project, and sadly, it happened right around page 80 or so. Um, uh, it is a website, and it is a 3D walkthrough of the Soden House. So you
Sick.
can go and visit this place in like a virtual reality kind of sense. This was enormously useful for my reference, and the eerie sense of deja vu that I got from virtually walking around these halls was I can't compare it to anything else. It was insane. But and kind of take a tour with me here as I tap. I keep going
Nice.
further and further into the house, and I knew instinctively that I needed to turn this direction and eventually go up a set of stairs that would lead
Creepy
me
stairs.
up into the house interior,
Wow.
like I had somehow been there and murdered there before.
Whoa.
You're haunting it.
Yeah, no, it's something else. It's worth checking out just for the value of if you're an architecture student or sorry, I am not good with cameras.
It's okay.
Um,
But the house is an event space now. It's owned. I mean, it's just it's like owning a painting with these rich people, right? They're buying this art installation as property, and then they sell it off at a profit to someone else. So
yeah,
productions can rent it out, and photo shoots can rent it out. Or if you're a corporate company wants to have an event, they rent it out for event spaces too. So that's like no one lives there. It's just land right now.
but if you're
So
watching
this
Chinatown, Faye Dunaway lives there.
is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's the house from
yeah.
Chinatown where Jack Nicholson arrives to visit Faye Dunaway. That's her home.
Yeah, I'm a Black Dahlia freak, starting with the James Elroy novel and evolving or devolving, as you may say, from there. This is so cool to find that out.
Look into
So,
Dr. Hodel. Look into that. It's so
oh, I
weird.
know
Yeah,
about
it's
Dr. Hodel. I
Oh
didn't
yeah,
know
then
the
geez.
house. Yep. All right. So you guys start working on this. You put it together, and then Mario, we were talking in the green room earlier
Yes.
a little bit about whether or not size matters. There's something happened with this book
Yeah.
before you sent it out. What was this little adventure that occurred?
Yeah. So we originally have, I don't have the measure. Actually, I have a ruler right here. Let me get my T square. So I originally wanted
You
to
want me to
print
hand you
this
this?
out at about, no, at my own, at 9 by 6, right? 9 by 6, respectable book. But when we got it printed out, this is a test copy. I noticed that the font was like way too small, which you can't really see too well on the camera. So, in talking with Jay and talking with Scott, we're like, well, this is great, but no one can read this. This is a book for ants right now. So we were trying to figure out a compromise, talking to Scott to see if we can re-letter it. And this was a delay, unfortunately, around Thanksgiving time. The compromise was, well, why don't we try to increase some of the lettering and also make it bigger? So I just, we ate the cost on the printing, and it ended up printing about an inch and a half bigger, which you could see from corner to corner how it came out. That helps with, just the visibility and actually reading it. And I believe from your experience, Christian, it might have provided an extra heft to the book.
Yeah, yes. This feels so good to hold, and it feels like it's really, you said you love physical media. I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Someone's like, why don't you just get a Kindle? You could clear out your office. I'm like, get out of my house. But yeah, this has got heft. It's got gravity to it, and it's such a good read. And to turn the pages and just have the experience of holding it. But I'm so glad it's this size because, as Mario and I were talking about, even though I'm only 21 years old, I've become nearsighted. And if it was any smaller, I don't think I would have been able to. It would have been like a silent movie for me. But look at that, folks. Absolutely beautiful.
I love the spread.
Oh yeah, and this widescreen view, so to speak, worked so well. However, you told me something else that fascinated me as a writer, and I'm curious how this affected Jay's art as well. That when you redid the book, you also changed the script and added captions. And what happened there?
Yeah, Jay, I apologize in advance. I know this frustrated you, but we went from an 80-page story to a 104-page story because and this was after the Kickstarter was already completed and we got the money, and I was like, I don't love this. I mean, Jay, just from your perspective, how did you feel when I was constantly making changes to the script, even up to the final moment of dialogue, not necessarily art?
It wasn't a huge deal on my end because it was usually pretty far ahead of where I had already gone. It's usually like where I say like I get frustrated with it. It would be more like, hey, you remember page 1 where this happens? Well, now this totally different thing happens. Now you got to redraw the whole goddamn page.
No.
Like it was never anything like that. It was kind of like, okay, all this stuff that is like aspirationally far into your drawing future is changed a little bit. I'm like, okay, it's the same as if it never changed in some respects. It was just kind of like, okay, when I arrived there, my understanding is this is different from how it was before. But I also think that it was a good idea, and just my experience with having done Hush Ronin is that it's a very action-based comic. There's not an internal narrator to the story per se. And I learned that the first time I read my own comics back to myself, like, oh my God, I finished this 50-page book in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that it slows the reading pace. And I think that's a good thing, especially for me as the artist, because it keeps you looking at, the thing I'm doing a little bit longer. Even if you're just looking at the words and only capturing the image in your peripheral vision, it's anything that can kind of slow or in otherwise say control that reading pace is not a bad thing in my opinion.
Yeah, you said it right, exactly. There was no caption beforehand. It was just pretty much straight what we saw is what we heard from the characters. And 80 pages, I realized this is going to be a way too quick of a read. So I went back, I added in captions, added in a couple of scenes that I had originally cut but wanted to add back in. There's a party scene that we added in that was originally for something else that Jay and I were going to do like a side story, but we're like, okay, you know what? F that, let's just put it in into this to kind of beef things up a bit. And like to Jay's credit, he said to slow things down so people can see his art a bit more. I have 3 or 4 friends who used to work for WWE as writers, and I felt the way they told me about Vince McMahon, where he would be changing Monday Night Raw as they're on the air. So that's how I felt. When he's drawing stuff, I'm like, all right, well, pages 1 through 30 are done. So 31 through 104, we're going to look at this. While the basic bones of the story were like consistent and never changed, it's just little dialogue tweaks and moments that we kind of mixed around. Sorry, Christian, what do you say?
No, so you got, I got a bunch of stuff in my head right now.
Yeah.
The party scene. Are you talking about the beach scene with my fisticuffs?
No.
Which party scene?
Yeah, my mom's in that scene, by the way.
Is that
beach
right?
scene?
Yeah, she's the woman in the background who's kind of like high and dancing.
That's funny.
I drew a teenage version of my mom.
Oh, which party scene? So it's not
The house.
They go to the restaurant early on.
Yeah.
Yep.
When
That's
they
good.
come back from the restaurant?
No, it's the house party right before the beach.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He's
Right,
sitting
so
with
it
his
is
feet
the
in the
beach,
pool drinking Jack
but-
Daniels.
Right, it's the before he goes out there and
Yeah.
starts making friends with hippies. Okay, because that I love that, and that actually ties into the next thing I was going to say.
Okay.
And this is a huge compliment to both of you. There is every mom should get a cameo. There we go. Every mom
Yes,
should get
absolutely.
a cameo. There is a scene which, by its very definition in a noir, should have been cut, and it never occurred to me till right now that it should have been cut because it shouldn't have. He goes clothes shopping. It's like, dude, you're not gonna put a fucking scene in this noir where he goes clothes. And really, he actually tries on the outfit. She's having a conversation with another woman that works there, and yet I was just as engrossed in that scene as I was with any of the other violent or plotting or scheming or anxiety-ridden tension scenes. And I actually I was like, oh, I wonder what outfit he's going to come out in for the dressing room. You had me just as involved as any of the part. And Mario, that is your writing, and Jay, your art. I mean,
he killed it.
It felt like, yeah, of course this belongs here.
I want to call it a huge Easter egg right there at that clothes shopping scene.
Yes.
The clothes store. If you watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure, the clothes store is the bike shop from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And the Woolworths next door, I named after our editor, James Ferguson.
James is the man.
I wondered about Ferguson's. Okay. But any reference to Pee-wee pleases me to know.
I just rewatched that this week with my son. He'd never seen it before.
Pulling the chain. Classic.
Oh, that's
love that
great.
Movie.
My friend Casey Allen, who runs Casey Allen, who runs. Oh, there she is.
My co-star.
Hi there.
Hey.
Good evening.
How are
you? Okay. She just woke up from a nap. She's
gotten so big, Jay.
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh my gosh. My friend Casey Allen, who runs the Comic Jam, does weekly one-pagers, and he always describes his writing process. He says, the only way I can describe my writing process is when Pee-wee runs out of the pet store with the 2 handfuls of snakes. And that's his image for how he writes.
That's funny.
All right, gentlemen. So gotta ask, how does someone who's not me, because I will never let go of this, how does someone who's not me get their copy of this? Maybe they missed the Kickstarter. What do we do? How do we get this in our hands?
That's a great question. My plan is to send a bunch of copies to Jay. He could just sell them.
Okay.
He also has digital
I've got it
copies
digitally available on my site currently.
Okay.
I have had nobody buy it yet, but jschiek.com/swag. You can get it there. And I even put it on sale.
Thank you.
/swag. Yep. Got it.
Yes.
All right. So, folks, I am putting this in the chat. If you can only get a digital copy right now, get it, because it's fucking gorgeous. This is a gorgeous book, and the story is so good, and the characters are so good. So, Mario, I got to give you, as a writer, one of the, and without spoiling it, I'm not going to spoil it, but one of the biggest compliments I can give you. One of my mentors was Mr. Leonard in high school, and him and Miss Barbagallo are the reason that I decided to become an English major instead of a business major. So actually, they're the reason I never made enough money in my life. I should have been a business major, but they're the ones that really pushed me on the creative writing path. And he said to me one day, the best compliment he ever gave me. He says, the thing about your writing is you should really stop. No, he said, the thing about your writing is that you always go for the and then some. At the end of the story, there's just this extra note that other people wouldn't have thought of or connected or taken it in that direction. And it stayed with me and I had to make sure I didn't overthink it to let that happen, because it's how my brain works, is connections. And here I am I get to what I think is the end of One True Love. And there's, to quote Columbo, just one more thing. And there is just one more thing. And it's picture perfect. It's exactly what it needs to be. And it tells the story of what's not the MacGuffin. The money that was the impetus for all this. It ties the whole thing up, but in a surprising way with Mario. Great dialogue. There is great dialogue between those characters in that scene. And Jay, holy cow, how that whole thing looks. You are responsible for some of the best murder executions I've ever seen.
Well, thank you.
In my life. And you certainly did not skimp out here. So guys, the ending of this book is tremendous. I put in the chat the link to Jay Schiek's website. And Mario, the minute you're selling physical copies, let me know, and I will feature that fact on this show, because everyone, I cannot, I can't wait to alphabetize it on my comic shelves. I'm so honored to have this. This is such a good book, and I back a lot of stuff. I support my friends and whatnot, but it's rare that something truly knocks me on my ass. And you guys did it. What a team. Thank you so much for being on tonight, guys.
Thank you so much.
Christian. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So anything you want to hype before we sign off? Are you going to be appearing anywhere? Going back to stand-up comedy? Jay,
I have a story about that. I have a couple things. Jay, you want to go first? I got to look up one thing.
Let's see. Yeah, I am finishing up Old Devils #2. For those of you who backed it, thank you. I am actively finishing up the last few pages of inks and coloring. And then I am also working on the longer form version of Tagalongs with J. Michael Donahue. Currently kind of in both tandem penciling, inking phase on that, but a little over half done. And yeah, just that's getting back to my kind of horror roots a little bit. And also Hush Rona #3. I know Band of Bards has been waiting to hear about that for a long time. I feel bad. But I am sincerely working on that and its spin-off, this new thing I'm doing called Onigaku, which hopefully will be a thing someday.
You let me know if you want me to look at that script for 3. I say that pretending to be generous, but really so that I can get a look at it in advance.
Yeah, you bet.
I
offer my send you what I have.
Totally selfish reasons.
Yeah, it's I keep changing the starting point on that book. It opens in a certain way that I think kind of set in concrete, but the rest is kind of like, well, I could really move this forward a couple of days and it really wouldn't change anything. So
yeah, that's always the question. With the screenplay rule is get there late and leave early. And then the debate begins. How late? How much do I need to establish anything?
Is this still fashionable?
Yeah, exactly. Mario, what do you got going on?
All right, so my comics stuff is really light this year because I'm focusing on a couple of different things. But I'm doing a event at Ridgewood, New Jersey Public Library on Pi Day 3/14. So Saturday, March 14th, I will be there. I think it's just a 2-hour small convention, but I will be there with James Ferguson and Matthew Sumo. We are promoting our book that we did last year called Slices of Life, which is it was a satire, but it's becoming more reality, unfortunately. It's a book in a world where pizza was outlawed after a president did not like late night talk show hosts making fun of the way he ate pizza. So who knew I was a Simpsons writer making reality like that? And I plan on being at San Diego, but only if LA Strong from Mad Cave gets an Eisner nomination. Otherwise, I'm not doing any conventions this year. I'm just focusing on non-comic stuff. I have a Kickstarter that James Ferguson is producing that I co-wrote for a story called Feed 'Em to the Crows, which is a dark, I mean, if this was like noir, this is like a dark, moody, not quite horror, but definitely more of a drama about a kid trying to avenge his mother's death with a supernatural cause. And maybe Jay and I might be working on a follow-up to One True Love called Two True Love. No, I'm just kidding.
I was going to
But
say
no,
that.
but yeah, we've been we've been kicking around ideas. I have a couple of pages I've already written for him. We're just there's still meat on the bone for this story. If the end is very definitive, but the world still goes on around these people.
And I have some
There's a
original sketches I'm going to mail you. Sorry,
oh,
still issues with the camera.
nice, thank you. That looks really cool. There's a line that I always think of in my head, and it is old advice. It says, "Money doesn't know where it comes from, and it wouldn't give a damn if it did." So at the end of this is still a big bag of cash, and that story is not going to end. So, spoiler alert.
It makes me think of the Money in Fargo.
Yes. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Brian said with a fork, and I think I missed the com. I'm not sure what that's connected to. So let me know if you want to hype anything on the show.
Okay.
Tell me. I'd be happy to have you both on together,
Thank you.
separately, whatever. If there's any One True Love news, you come here. I want it. Gentlemen, this has been a pleasure. Hey, folks, thanks so much. And I want to make sure, I don't know if this got the attention it needed to get, but Evan has an ant farm, and I really wanted to make sure that we all caught that.
That's really
I
cool.
didn't know that. I know
Fuck
Evan
yeah,
really well.
ant
I
farm.
did not know he had an ant farm. Folks, fugitivepoems.com for all your messed up comic needs. We got Blood Valkyrie in Vegas, the story of a young girl that goes to a party and it turns into a satanic blood orgy. It's
That
a
was
very
fantastic, by the way. Sorry, I realized after opening it, like I cannot read this while my kids are awake.
Wow.
Mario, there is no depth or philosophy behind that one. I just wanted pure grindhouse nonstop action.
Of course.
And artist
Yeah.
Alex Zapata just shredded through that story. It was amazing.
Nice.
I had so much fun writing it. And then well, I said some crazy shit and he put it in a panel and it's amazing.
Sometimes that's what you need, right?
Yeah. When you write guy in background should have lit candlestick out of his ass and it actually shows up in the panel, you know you're dealing with a professional.
Somewhere out there, Garth Ennis is smiling at you. Just know this.
So we've got that. We've got Ryan Santos and Stephen Betch's Dirty Living. Issue 6 is about to come out. It's about, you got a month to go. That's the end of arc 1. It is such a wild supernatural story, and it's only $2.99 right now. You subscribe for $2.99, you'll get issues 1 through 5. $2.99 every 3 months. Every 3 months, a new issue. There's Containment Breach 1, 2, and 3. The last thing I'll mention, if you want to see more J. Schiek, Containment Breach number 3 has the Yankovic theorem, which he drew.
I did that Hercules story in volume 2 also.
Oh, and that's right. That fantastic epic stories for children. And Claudio suggests maybe call it Threesome True Love. I'd buy it.
I draw it.
I'd model it. All right, so gentlemen, thank you so much for being on, and I wish you the best in everything that you guys do. Folks, I'm Christian Matteo, co-founder of Fugitive Poems Comics. This has been The Art Will Not Be Changing. Next week, we have got, actually, before I end, let me say this, because we're going to be week to week for a little while, because I booked the hell out of this show. Nice. And next week, we have on Life on Saturn, the incredible folks, Dom and Lydia Monet, Life on Saturn. You're going to want to check it out. These people are doing wild, wild stuff, constantly doing output. The art is unbelievably good. The stories are insane. Definitely tune in next Thursday, 8 o'clock. Folks, we are Fugitive Poems, and we make comics. Good night.
Good night.